where any hard-working black person who aspired to could get a good job. Yolanda Caraway was a long-legged, beautiful teenager with hair that swung like a Supreme's and a brain that held facts and figures like a human computer. Hers was a community of have-somes, and her ambitions matched the achievements of the men and women around her. She was inspired by the Freedom Riders and remembers that by the time she attended high school, she had only one ambition: to help people. She toyed with the idea of being a social worker, but medicine called her too. Her best friend's aunt was a doctor. That same friend, Anne Michaud, had a grandfather who was a doctor too, the black doctor in their town. The year she turned 14, Yolanda got a summer job as a candy striper at St. Mary's Hospital, the very same hospital where she had drawn her first breath. Years later, she would admit, "I think I was really attracted to the cute little candy-striped dresses. The boys seemed to really like them, and I liked that." But things did not work out the way she planned. She flunked algebra and needed to retake the course to get a passing grade. Yolanda went to summer school in the morning. Then at noon, she went to St. Mary's with her girlfriend Dolores Leach, who did become a nurse. Life in the hospital was not as glamorous as Yolanda had imagined. She spent her afternoons emptying bedpans, running errands for doctors, checking people into the emergency room, and cleaning up all manner of vomit and excrement. "It took me about 2 weeks to realize that I was definitely not cut out for that," she says. "The first time some very bloody person was wheeled in, I was out. Never could take the sight of blood, even on myself." There was more blood than usual in Rochester that summer. A case of police brutality had ignited the city's first race riots, and angry protesters had taken to the streets. Yolanda didn't know it at the time, but the influence of that event, so close to home, and prompting feelings of injustice and frustration, would tilt her attention toward politics. It was Freedom Summer, 1964. Lyndon B. Johnson had become president after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The hope and potential of the modern civil rights movement hung in the balance. In June 1964, a coalition of 4 branches of the movement gathered with the united purpose of registering as many African American voters as humanly possible. They were SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the Young People's Wing of the movement; Gore, Congress of Racial Equality; SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference; and the NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the more than 50-year-old organization started by W.E.B. Du Bois, Mary White Ovington, and Moorfield Story. Over the course of the 10-week nonviolent initiative, the Ku Klux Klan and organizations such as the white supremacist Citizens Council brought down a reign of terror on the volunteers. They used every tool at their disposal as members of the white Southern elite. Volunteers were beaten and murdered, evicted from their homes and fired from their jobs, intimidated, arrested, and harassed. Dozens of black churches and homes were bombed and burned. Fannie Lou Hamer, a former sharecropper, was so powerful in her testimony before the Credentials Committee of the DNC that summer that President Johnson called a press conference to divert the television cameras from her story. She wanted the right to vote, she told the committee members. Voting was what stood between her current status and the right to become a first-class citizen. With all the death and destruction being rained down upon nonviolent volunteers who were simply trying to get people to the ballots, Hamer let the country know, "I question America." That fall, when Yolanda started the 9th grade, a friend asked if she wanted to volunteer to work on Bobby Kennedy's Senate campaign. President Kennedy had been assassinated just the year before, and his younger brother Robert had left the administration and moved to New York to be able to run for Senate. Yolanda can still remember her excitement at the invitation. Well, all black people